We are back to our discussion about solving the quadratic equations. Here we are going to use completing squares. We saw how the derivation of the completing squares was. So we are going to begin now with the examples dealing with the solving the equations using the completing of the squares. Now for that case, we said that they have said that equation 1 is x squared plus 9x plus 20 equals 0. So this is a quadratic equation in the x. So we have to get the values of x1 and x2. So what you do, we said when you are completing squares, you first check whether here the degree of the x squared is 1. If it is 1, so we continue. Like here now it is only 1, there's no any other. So for it there is no need of dividing since it is already 1. So from there we are going to now on that value of b. We saw that when you try to compare this equation with ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, you find that the value of b is the one which is 9. Then we said you get that value of b, then you divide it by 2. So get the value of b divided by 2, which will be equal to 9 out of 2. So after dividing by 2, we say again square it. So we are going now to square it. Square the value. So this one will now be b out of 2 squared. So this one will be now the same as 9 out of 2, the whole thing squared. So we said when you reach on this step, you come back to the equation which they gave us, which is x squared plus 9x plus 20 equals 0. So after going back to the equation, we said also you have to take now this 20, the other side. Take the 20, this side now, this one becomes now x squared plus 9x, then becomes equal to negative 20. So after taking this one, this side, here, what you are going to do, we say add the value which you have squared on both sides. Add it this side and add it the other side. So for this case, it will be x squared plus 9x. So here it becomes now plus 9 out of 2, but the whole thing squared. So must give us negative 20 plus 9 out of 2, the whole thing squared. So that will be our results after adding what we have squared both sides. But also we say that when you reach on this step, you must know which number can you expand in order for us to come out with exactly this one. So for that case, what you do here, you choose the number which is at first, which is the letter, which will be x without a square. Then also choose the number which is at the last. Number which is at the last, also consider the sign which is between here where there is 9x, you see which sign. If it is positive, so you say it is plus. So if it was negative, you say minus. So now, after writing this one which is not squared, also add this one which is not squared. So it will be 9 out of 2. Then the square, you apply it outside. So that when I expand this one, I get something which is the same as this. So if you try to expand this, you find that it will be the same thing. So now this one will be equal to, now come this side, first square, then you get the LCM. So it will be negative 20 plus, when square 9, you come with 81, out of this one becomes a 4. Then from there we say first deal with this side, get the LCM. Then after getting the LCM, continue by solving, this is x plus 9 out of 2 squared, which gives us, how we are this side, LCM we said is 4. 4 divided by 1, we get a 4 times negative 20, which is negative 80. So here it becomes plus 81. So now you try to work upon this, evaluating this one so that you can come out with the answer. So now this one becomes x plus 9 out of 2, the whole thing squared, to be equal to, when you say negative 80 plus 81, this one now becomes 1 out of 4, because here you remain with only 1, then divide by 4. Then when we reach on this step, we said when we reach here, we take now a root, because we need only to get the value of x, so we need to take the root on both sides. So for that case, this one appears now to be x plus 9 out of 2. The whole thing squared is equal to a quarter. Then here we said we take a root on both sides. Take a root and here a root. So this one root will die with the square. So we remain with x plus 9 out of 2 to be equal to, take a root here. A root of 1 is the same as 1, and a root of 4 is the same as 2, so it will be a half. But also we say that a root of any value must be a positive or negative. So you must also take note of this. So by doing this, you need to get now the two values. Now you say, when you reach on this step, you say either x plus 9 out of 2 equals a half. You consider when the first is a positive, you get that value. So you have to take this one, this side to be x equals a half minus 9 out of 2. So since the denominators are the same, you just subtract the numerators. So it will be 1 minus 9, which is negative 8 out of 2. So this one, the answer is x1 will be equal to negative 4. So after getting the answer for the x1, also get x2, you say or x plus 9 out of 2 equals, now you consider the second time one is a negative a half. So also take this one, the other side, so it will be x equals negative a half, then minus 9 out of 2. So since the denominators are the same, just add this one, so it will be negative 10 out of 2. So our x2 becomes negative 5. So those are the two answers which you get after this. So if you want to know that you are correct, you can try it out with another method, maybe factor formula, and you get the answer. You find that they are the same. So we go to straight out to the next. We go to the next part B of the question. Now part B, they are saying that it is this one. So solution for B. Solution for B, they are saying that 2x squared plus 5x plus 3 equals 0. So we say that the first check whether here there is a degree of 1. Now for this case, we have 2. So we have to first divide all through by 2 to get it in terms of a degree of 1. So it is 2x squared plus 5x plus 3 equals 0. So for this case, we said we have to make it to be a degree of 1, which is by 2 by 2, by 2, even here by 2. So after dividing by 2, what do we have is this one become x squared plus 5 out of 2x plus 3 out of 2 equals 0. So after doing that, we say we get now the value of b. B is the one which is in the middle. You get that b which is 5 out of 2. Then divide it by 2. Divide here by 2. Even here you must divide by 2. So by dividing by 2, this one will change that our b, it will change that the b out of 2 will be now the 5 out of 4. So when you divide this one by that one, you have that 5 out of 4. So after dividing by 2, we said we square b out of 2. Now you square it, which will give us 5 out of 4. The whole thing squared. So now after squaring, we said that we have to go back to what we got after making it to become a degree of 1. So which is the x squared plus 5 out of 2, x plus 3 out of 2 equals 0. Then we take this one, the other side, so it will be x squared plus 5 out of 2x equals negative 3 out of 2. So that's what we get after taking this one, the other side. Then from there, we said what we have squared, the result we get after squaring, we add it on both sides. So this one becomes x squared plus 5 out of 2x, then plus 3 out of, it is 5 out of 4 squared, being equaling to negative 3 out of 2, then plus 5 out of 4, the whole thing squared. So that will be the result after adding what we squared on both sides. So from there we say that here you have to see which number can you multiply with, or which number can you square to get something like this. So for this case, we said you get a number which is the point which is here, which is x, without a square. Then you see here in the middle which side has the quotient of the x, which is a positive, say plus. So you check also the other side at the last point, which is 5 out of 4. You apply it here, then a square, apply it outside. So that when I square this one, I'll get something like this. Then from there, you come now on this side. You have to square this one, which is in the bracket, which becomes negative 3 out of 2, plus this one, which is 25 out of 16. So after making that one, this one will be now x plus 5 out of 4, the whole thing squared, which gives us, now we here get the LCM. LCM here is 16. So 16 divided by 2, which is 8. 8 times 3, you get a negative 24. So plus this side, which is a 25. So you remain with that x plus 5 out of 4. The whole thing squared will give us, this side you have 1 out of 16. So after getting this one, we said how to make x a subject, so we get also its values. So by doing this, we just take a root on both sides. Now for that case, after taking the root on both sides, we shall have that x plus 5 out of 4 equals now, when we take a root of something, we say it is either positive or negative. So after writing that one, now we take a root of that. Root of 1 is 1 out of root of 16, which is a 4. So I said when you reach here, you say now either x plus 5 out of 4 equals, you begin now with a positive, which is a quarter. So take this one this side. When you take this one this side, it becomes x equals a quarter minus 5 out of 4. Since the denominators are the same, just subtract the numerators, so it becomes negative 4 out of 4. So our x1 becomes negative 1. So after getting the x as negative 1, also say or The other one, when it is negative, which is x plus 5 out of 4, which will give us negative a quarter. So we have this one, we take it to the other side. So it becomes x equals negative a quarter plus, no, it is minus, because here it is a plus, minus 5 out of 4. So for this case, the denominators are the same, we just deal with the numerators. So this one, negative 1 minus 5, so it becomes negative 6 out of 4. So if we try to reduce this one by 2, then by 2, we come with a 3. So our x2 becomes negative 3 out of 2. So that's what we can do on that questions. So that is all about solving the quadratic equations using completing squares. So with that, thank you.